World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Jana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be leaked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She is magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is magic.
Greetings and welcome to Access Wealth Nation with Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse, giving you that checkup from the neck up so you can become financially free. Knowledge is power. Action is queen. And so today we have I have a special guest, but before, let's do some little bit of housekeeping here. First of all, if you have any questions, comments, statements, please feel free to place it in the chat. Also, I say if you know better, you'll do better. Of course, we have the How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker book. And that's written by Tom Matthews and Steve Seabolt, two of my partners in growing the business of educating individuals across the country. But of course, my focus is on the urban community. So if you'd like a book, all you got to do is send your address, okay, to Anaj Enterprises, Inc. That's ANAJ Enterprises, Inc. at gmail.com. Of course, those of you who are listening on WHCR 90.3 FM, please feel free to send out the request. I've gotten a few from you too, but I need addresses. Okay. And of course, we're all broadcast on the Soul City Network. Proud to be here. Now, of course, the whole ruling is that if you have a plan, then you're planning not to fail. But if you don't have a plan, you may be failing to plan and fail to plan. And therefore, you don't have a plan. Not good, not good. So, what do? We offer you a free, no obligation analysis. You can just call our office at Anaj Enterprises at 646-375-2121 and say you heard on Access Wealth Nation and you'd like a plan to put in, and it's free, of course, with no obligation. So, all those are the things that are so important is to put into place the things that are what you want to do. Where are you now? And where would you like to go? You know, it's our own personal financial GPS. I just thought about that. That's a good thing. So one is the book. Oh, book kind of. Okay, there we go. How Money Works. Stop being a sucker. And then, of course, we have the free financial analysis. Again, we are here on Access Wealth Nation on the Soul City Network with Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse. And we definitely are here and appreciate all of you for all the viewership because we've gotten a special rating with Access Wealth Nation on Facebook. Yay! You know, we're in the top 4%. So keep on coming every Thursday at 6 p.m. You know we're here and that we're here to give you some vital information about you moving forward to your dreams, your goals, your destinies. Okay, that being said, I did all of my housekeeping and I want as much time as I can with our guests today. Now, I'm going to give a little short synopsis because I've known this brother for a few years, but it seems like I've known him forever. And that, like I said, a brother from another mother. Uh, but he comes with some great credentials. One is that we call him one in a million. He's really one in a million. I'm going to have him explain, but he is a certified financial planner. He is also a financial educator, well astute. He just has so many different things. One thing else that he's about is that, you know, we have to give tribute to him because he is a retired veteran. So he's given service to this country. He is a well-rounded individual on a mission, and his mission is to bring financial literacy into our country and to make a difference in all of our communities. So, with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Dr. James Wilkerson.
Yana, thank you so much for having me on this evening. I tell you, I am super excited to be here, and I enjoy any time you and I get to have a conversation, whether it's on your show or if we're just talking over the telephone. I am so grateful and blessed to be associated with such an incredible person. And thank you so much for having me once again.
Thank you. So, have you made your visit to us? I see the New York Stock Exchange. So, you didn't come back up. You done left the infamous. Oh, I meant to mention he's in the wrong section of the country. He's down south. As you notice, he's wearing something that looks very cool as opposed to something that like a sweater. He's in Tampa, Florida.
That is correct.
So you want the feel of the New York Stock Exchange.
You know, I want to feel like I'm in the money. I'm in the money. And so I put that little flavor in back there behind it. And you notice the color is green. Green is the color of money. And that's the color of Florida because all the people with money, guess where they move to? Florida.
Okay, I'll submit that. You got the snowbirds. Oh, little snowbirds. Exactly. But at this stage in New York, we kind of warm up here. So just let you know, we're not cold yet. Hopefully not. But anyway,
I'm not coming until it warm up again.
Oh, well, you got to come back, though, because we've had some good fun and we've gotten an opportunity to educate some folks and to spur them on, which is so important. So I wanted to take this opportunity to ask you a question. First and foremost is, why do people need to have a financial advisor, a certified financial planner, and especially in the urban community?
Well, I said, like it says in the Bible, people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Unfortunately, most people don't know how much they don't know about how money really works. And so it's imperative for us to educate them on how to position themselves to take advantage of those valuable resources that they have access to, those hard-earned dollars. Unfortunately, most people get advice from people who don't know anything instead of talking to experts. It's amazing. If we had to have a heart bypass procedure, we go to the cardiologist. If we need our teeth worked on, we go to the dentist. We are super reluctant to go to talk to anybody about our financial welfare because we are embarrassed about where we find ourselves because we know so little about it. And so that has to change. And so we have to make a choice to take a chance on change because we are the change that we're looking for.
I got you. So, in our community, do you find it difficult? Because we've had this conversation a bit to get the people in our urban communities to listen to us.
One of the most challenging aspects of my duties is to get people who look like me to believe in what I'm saying to them. Unfortunately, a lot of people believe that we have a hidden agenda. I don't have an agenda. I'm on a mission. I want to help a million people who look like me become millionaires through financial literacy. If they understand that the mission is bigger than their situation, then they could appreciate what we're bringing to the table. And I say that partly because for so long, everyone has thought that other people know more than we do.
Mm-hmm.
I can have all the credentials in the world. I'm a certified financial planner. I'm a certified financial educator. I'm a financial advisor. I got all these credentials behind me, yet people want to question me unless I'm operating with status. And if you allow me to explain, I share with you what I mean. In our community, people are attracted to the sizzle. So we have people who want to go out and buy stuff with money they don't have to impress people who really don't like them. Status. They want to keep up with the Joneses. And so I've had people who wouldn't do business with me because they expected me to show up in a luxury car, but I'm driving a truck. So as I saw what was important to people in my community, it became necessary for me to go out and get a Mercedes. So now they have the perception that I know what I'm talking about, because if I'm driving a truck, I don't know what I'm talking about, despite the fact that I got all these credentials behind my name.
You know, it's interesting you say that because Warren Buffett, who everybody goes to for advice, and for the longest, he's driven a Ford Taurus, which was what was my car of choice until the police force here in New York decided to use it. But I'd like you to explain, because, like you said, credentials. Tell us how you were one in a million.
Well, when I was thinking about what I wanted to do in the financial services industry, I didn't want to just be in the industry, but I wanted to make a significant impact. And so after some due diligence and talking to some people while working on my master's degree, one of my instructors said, "Hey, why don't you become a financial planner?" They work hand in hand with estate attorneys, and they do a lot of great things to help a lot of people. So I did some research that said, "Hey, I could do that." So I moved to Tampa in 1999. I attended University of South Florida Certified Financial Planners Program, completed the 2 years of coursework. I took the 2-day exam. Now I'm one of less than 93,000 certified financial planners in America. So that means I'm an expert on investments, insurance, retirement plan, education funding, estates, and taxes. Now, how do we get to the 1 in a million? Well, there are about 332 million people in America. And if you divide the 93,000 by the 332 million, you'll find out I pop out somewhere as 1 in a million. But it gets better than that. Because of those 93,000 certified financial planners in America, only 1,651 happen to be of color.
Mm.
So if you divide that 1,651 by the 332 million, you can truly see I am 1 in a million.
There you go, bro. That's the truth. And you are, just by the fact of your, not just your credentials, but where your heart is. I know you do some assisting and advising in the spiritual realm, the churches. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about the power, because we have listeners that are, on different levels of spirituality, but, they feel that money is the root of all evil. They didn't read the scripture properly. Okay. But can you just give us a little bit of advantage of how the scriptures talk about money?
Well, I love that part of ministry as a minister of the gospel. I like to talk to people about what's in scripture. In the Bible, there's roughly about 2,300 scriptures associated with stewardship, more than prayer, fasting, faith, heaven, hell, love combined. Unfortunately, we gravitate towards everything else and forget about some of the things that are found written about how to have great success. As a matter of fact, if you look at the word Bible, basic instruction before leaving earth, it gives you some instructions on how to manage stuff. And so, unfortunately, most people have been taught in error about money. They don't understand is a tool that we use to help us to do stuff, because that same Bible said, for the love of money is the root of all evil. It says that money answereth all things. Those bills that we have to pay every month, money answer that. That freedom that you're searching for financially, money answers that. And so you got to understand how to employ money to work for you. And I'm going to share this with you because I think it is amusing. We oftentimes read the scripture and it talks about a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Yeah. And so we stop right there because most people don't know what the second part of that scripture is. But the second part of that scripture said, for the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. That means there's money out there with your name on it. If you do the right thing, you have access to it. The easiest way for us to create an inheritance, to leave a legacy, to change generations is through life insurance. But most people in our communities are reluctant to get it in place. And I share something that's stirring up in my brain housing group with you later about what I'm looking at doing.
Okay. All righty. Yes. Well, you mentioned life insurance, and in our community, I know there's been an experience of a lot of people paying money into a policy and little bit of money through the years, because I've always said is that the insurance agent has shown up in our community, but the investment advisor has not. And so we've got, and nothing wrong with insurance, but you pay this little thing called a term insurance. And I tell it's like rent, after you betting you're going to die, and they're betting that you're going to live. So they don't give it to you if you think you're going to live. So I know that there are some facets about building legacy. So what is it that we can do as a people to create or to lessen the racial wealth gap?
And so we have to be able to transfer wealth from one generation to the next. And unfortunately, most people in our communities are operating with net worth that's less than $100,000.
Uh-oh.
Because we are spenders and not savers and investors, our net worth is going in the wrong direction. If you look at the demographics across America, you will find that every other ethnicity has more net worth than we do. And that's a sad testament, because we have champagne taste and we have Coca-Cola budget. We want to look the part, but we don't want to make sure we have everything in place to continue to live the lifestyle that we portray to others. And so it's going to be a real challenge to change that narrative. One way we could do it again is going to be through life insurance. One of the things I was sharing with life insurance, I tell this to you, I was thinking about, I'm channeling my inner Spike Lee. I'm channeling my inner Farrakhan. And Farrakhan had a 1 million man march. He had a 1 million man march.
That's right.
Spike Lee say, do the right thing.
Okay.
So what I would like to see is 1 million men on a mission to make millionaires at $1 a day.
$1 a day.
$1 a day. And so let me explain how we're going to create this. So if you
Okay.
take 1,000,000 men and have $1 a day with a policy, a term policy that gives a $500,000 worth of coverage, $500,000 worth of coverage. Now you're talking about over that transition from one generation to the next, you're talking about 500 billion would it be? Not all at the same time, but what happens over 5 years, over 10 years, over 15 years, over 20 years, just because the commitment was made for $1 a day for a family. In the event something happens, that family has something in place that their lifestyle could continue. Now, the kids have an opportunity to go to college or go to trade school or to do something that they never thought possible. They have the seed money to start their own businesses, because we should be the head and not the tail. We should be above only and not beneath. And so there are some incredible opportunities if we leverage and do things the right way. But most people think it costs an arm and a leg to do the simple thing, but it doesn't.
$1 a day. So that's
Yes, ma'am.
$365 for the year.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what's the likelihood of men? Because I heard the word, it's men. Because I know women, we will do certain things, we listen to, but so many people say that our men are under fire. And especially since we've seen so many through the years, and I mean through the years, it doesn't matter what year you go to, we've seen our men murdered, disfigured. So it is a way to leave some type of legacy, I'm assuming. I also kind of hear you, because I said, if you said 500,000, right? That
Yes,
they would
ma'am.
be covered for.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
I kind of think, bro, that there's a chance that you might just save a lot of brothers' lives, because the insurance company is going to come out and say, don't you kill these people.
Without a doubt.
Don't touch them. Because then we got to pay out that, because that's $365 a year. And you die, that's $500,000. Now, if that happens too many times, I think we've got found the protection for our men.
Exactly. So we changed the narrative for a lot of stuff just by that. The other side of that is, if they want to do something incredible for their children, you and I have talked about this today, Child Tomorrow's Millionaire, with a life insurance policy for $2 a day, you make children multi-millionaires. And the beauty behind that is this. And I share a story with you because I believe people need to understand how important it is for us to write the vision and make it plain for our kids' future. I have a young cousin who happens to play professional football. He plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's an offensive guard. When he was in college, he was a first-team All-American. First-team All-American. You would think first-team All-American, he's going to be a first-round draft choice, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Well, my young cousin didn't get invited to the NFL combines. He didn't get drafted until the 4th round of the NFL draft. Now, he was the first person that was drafted who didn't attend the combine, but you would think the credential or the body of work that he had before would get him in alignment to get selected in the 1st round. Well, think about all of our family members. Got our kids playing AAU basketball, got them playing football, got them playing baseball, thinking they're going to be the next great thing, when the reality of it is they got 1 in a million chance of making it. But here's what I do know. For $2 a day, every one of those kids that we set this program in place for, they could be multi-millionaires by the time they get to be 60.
Okay, 60.
Think about that for one moment. They can be multi-millionaires because mom or dad decide, I'm going to set $2 a day away to make sure my child's future is secure and don't have to worry about them suffering from concussion protocol. The young guy died on the football field.
Yes. And
his career as an athlete is over. Yeah.
That's serious, because you ain't got to run a field run a court. You now you got something that mom and dad have left for you. Now, one question is, okay, so they put this like if we had done stocks or bonds or whatever, they got to pay taxes.
Exactly.
So with the
There's
life
no tax
insurance,
consequences associated with the life insurance because it's under Internal Revenue Code 7702, which allows you to take money from an insurance policy tax-free in the form of a loan that you don't have to pay back. And so you can set yourself up where you have a six-figure income stream for the rest of your life. But nobody ever told us how to do it. Now, when we understand insurance in our community, it was the stuff that when I was growing up, Miss Boone came by every week. We had this thing right by the door, and she had a couple of dollars that were put away. My dad had. I don't even know if we derived anything when my father transitioned to the next life. I don't know if we got anything from it, but I made sure I put stuff in place. So when my time comes, my family gonna say he left an inheritance to his children's children.
mm, mm. That's it. I think that's so important. I've always said is that Paris Hilton may not know much about Conrad Hilton, but she loved him because he made it possible she could have a $15,000 purse and not think about it, or a business. So there's no stipulation basically with this for them to have to spend it a certain way.
No, but we have to make sure that we set them up for success. Think about what happens with people when they never had money. The first thing they do is go out and blow money because they never had it. I'm going to share a story with you, and this is what disturbs me more than anything else. Because people have never had anything, the moment they get access to some money, they want to go out and get everything that they never had. And so now we find ourselves in that cycle once again where we living in debt instead of living in overflow. And so I had an opportunity to talk to a young lady. She was a doctor doing really well. And I was talking to her about creating a plan to set herself up for the rest of her life so that when she hit retirement, she'd never have to worry about anything and her money come to her basically tax-free in addition to the other stuff that she had set up in her retirement plan. So during the course of the analysis, I find out that she has $2,000 that she's paying. Her and her husband were paying for vehicles. $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month for vehicle, which is just transportation to get from point A to point B. And so when I challenge her in her 30s, I say, do you not know if you take $1,000 a month and put it away from the time that you are 30 to the age 60, you would set yourself up where you have a six-figure income in retirement tax-free? She thought it was too much to ask or too much to do because she wanted the status symbol to demonstrate to everybody else that she had arrived. That's where we live in. So that's the cycle that we have to break. That's the challenge.
So how do we do that? How do we get into these minds? My philosophy is I'm going to find me that black scientist that'll create the pill that'll give our folks lobotomies. But I know that's like slim to none. So how else do we get this message, and the capabilities to our folks?
It's the constant banging of the drum. If we each reach one, and we can change the dynamics for one person, and then we continue that cycle, and we get the next person and the next person. That's the only way it's going to work. There's not going to be a mass mind shift in our community. It's not happening. But here's what I said. I said 1 million men. Think about what happens if in a church, the pastor stood up and said, every man in here needs to have a policy in place to make sure we don't have to do a GoFundMe in case something happens to you because your family is taken care of for $1 a day. If they did that, think of how many families would all of a sudden be protected.
That would be awesome. The key is, okay, I got the question for you here, which has been one of my dilemmas dealing with our folks is, okay, we ain't healthy. So how do we deal with getting a policy? I was talking to, matter of fact, Ed Slott, the noted CPA, and
All
he
right.
was, yes, IRA king. He was so nice. I impressed him enough that he gave me his book for free. So that's even better. But the question I asked him, I said, "You talking insurance?" I got it. My community, by the time we reach about 40 years old, we got what I call the trifecta: hypertension, we got what's that, cholesterol, and then the infamous what we said, girl, you got sugar. There ain't no sugar, you got diabetes. So how do we get around
As you said that, you again remember what I said about setting kids up early on in life,
Yes.
because the moment that child has a social security number, parent can get a policy on them before they have any conditions that prop up in their life later on. They're
Mm.
protected. Now think about what happens. That child goes off to college, finishes college, but he got something in place that always is going to be there to make sure he is protected and his family won't incur any expense that could keep them from moving the vision forward. But now, while he's young and healthy, he comes out, he starts his own career, and he began to sit down and talk to people about what the next step should be for his life. In the moment we leave school, we all should be talking to somebody to get some guidance and direction on how to take advantage of the income that's about to come our way. Because I was naive too, I was a young Navy ensign, brand new. And the first thing I went out and did was bought me a red T-top Mustang GT. Because the eyes are never satisfied. Now, if I'd have been talking to an advisor, he'd probably say, well, because, at that time I did have a vet. I had a vet. I had a Chevette. Okay. But it was getting me back and forth. It served its purpose. But because I wanted something, I had an itch I wanted to scratch. And so it's okay every now and then to scratch itches. But at the end of the day, you have to write the vision and make it plain. You have to have a roadmap for your future success. And so part of what I teach people to do is learn how to live with the 70-30 rule. Live on 70% of what you earn. All your expenses have to be within 70% of what you earn. Then 10% go to charity. For me, I'm a tither, so I give 10% to the church. Then 10% is my short term, whatever I want to do short term. If I want to go to Africa, if I want to buy a car, something short term within the next 3 years. But then the other 10%, that's my financial freedom fund. That's my long term, set it and forget it. Because when I get to the finish line, I want to have something over there that's going to make sure I never run out of money.
I got you. That's a plan in itself, and especially for what I just heard. You know how many people say, well, I want to have some fun. So you just set a plan that they can have fun, they can have something that they want, but also they can save for the future. Because I hate to tell my audience, but this is the truth. There's a good chance you're going to live long time. Now, the question is, how you going to live?
Oh.
And the thing is that are you going to, because I sat at this seminar and the big talk was about long-term care. And I sat back for a moment and thought, and I said, well, because I have right now in the place I live, there's a lot of people who I grew up with, and now they are the seniors, and they all have these health care people coming in and out of their houses. And I'm like, I gotta have an image in my head that I won't need a health care aid, but just in case, what do we do about that?
Again, so as we talk about it, I tell everybody a failure to plan is a plan to fail. And so one of the things I encourage everyone to do is create a spending plan. Notice I did not say a budget. Budget sounds so restrictive.
It does.
Budget
it's a curse
creates
word.
rebellion. pushback. Nobody wants it, but a spending plan. Oh, I get to spend. And so we've created a spending plan. But part of that spending plan is going to be based on these four pillars of everybody's financial plan. Everybody's financial plans had to have number one, protection. There are going to be some elements of debt. There are going to be some saving. There are going to be some investing. So now the question is, which one of those is most important?
Mm.
Well, in our community, because we are so driven by debt, the first thing we think about, I need to get out of debt. Well, if I get out of debt, what am I going to do? I'm going to go back to being in debt because that's what you have been doing all along. We are creatures of habit. So you got to, if you want something you never had, you have to do something you never done. So you got to change that. So the first thing you need to do is put protection in place. It's not if it's going to happen, it's just when is it going to happen. Bad things happen to good people all the time. If you look at me today, I don't look like what I've been through. But 2.5 years ago, I had a stroke while I was on a webinar talking about money. But I had pieces in place to make sure that if something happened to me, my family would have been taken care of. And so you need to have something in place if you're unable to feed yourself, clothe yourself, bathe yourself. You can't control your bodily function. You need to have a plan in place because, again, you're 3 times more likely for that to happen than you are to die. The next thing you got to do is be saving money. We're good at spending, but you got to get the habit of saving. One of the things I do for my savings, every time I go through the grocery store and I use my card to check out, I get cash back. But that cash that I get back is going into my savings. I'm pushing it over into a saving account. So my savings is going to translate into my investing later on because I can't invest until I have something saved up to invest. And the last thing I'm going to be focused on is trying to deal with all the debt that's in my life because of bad decisions I made. But I got a plan to get out of debt too. I got a debt snowball. I could pay some and let it drill down, get that one put away. But everything revolves around having a plan, Jana.
Got it. And that's awesome. So I know this is Black History Month. And some of us have gotten together and we're going to have a little bit of an education, alertness type of event. And it's going to be on February the 20th, correct, at 7 p.m. And for those who don't want to do anything in person, guess what? It's okay because we going to have it online. We coming for you. So that being said, what can they look for in this event that we're pulling off on there? And again, if you want to get more information, just contact Anaj Enterprises Inc. at gmail.com and we'll give you the flyer and send you out there. But tell us, James, what people can look for.
Everything is about educating people to make better decisions. That's the process that we have to go through. As a boy growing up in Mississippi, my dad would always tell me, get an education, they can't take it away from you. And he was so true. Once you become smart about knowing how money works, you make better decisions with your money. Now you learn how to put a plan in place that's going to set you up so that you have the ability to do the things that you always want to do. Every one of us who have children, we want our children to have a better quality of life than we had. So that doesn't come from wishing, that comes from a plan. So let's develop a plan to make sure we give them opportunity to go to college or a trade school if they choose to do so. And so that's just one part of the equation. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how to make sure that they transfer their estate from one generation to the next generation and mitigate the impact of taxes. There are so many things that we have never been exposed to because people did not want you to know them. And unfortunately, we have never sought them out. And think about this for one moment. You have never seen President Trump's tax returns yet.
No.
And he told you why. He, in his debate with Hillary, said, I'm just doing what the law allows me to do. That makes me smart. So we got to learn how to leverage the law to help us to do what is right for our families going forward. And so we're going to share some concepts, some ideas, some fundamentals to help people build a financial house that will stand the test of time.
That sounds awesome. I'm hoping that all of you are writing down because we are having the link. It's going to be some very powerful individuals on there to share their knowledge. I have the honor to share the stage with some really powerful gentlemen. You know, it's always nice to be the lady in the group. But also, James, you did all of this stuff. You okay, so you're a certified financial planner, you're certified educator. What about, do you do anything mentoring people to get to where you are? Because though we gonna live forever, you know, you and I have a yacht ride and Africa, and we got things to do. So we need some people.
And so one of the things that I'm a champion of is mentoring. And so the things that I've learned, I'm taking time out to teach to others so that they can help other people. So my crusade is to mentor men to come in and duplicate with greater success the things that I have done. As a matter of fact, on this Saturday, I'm going to be meeting with some of the men in my office to talk about how we could strategically do that. So mentoring is important. Can't get around it. Everybody needs somebody who's been there, done that, got the t-shirt to show them what is possible. Because unfortunately, if you don't know it's possible, you will doubt that it could be done. But we have a responsibility, and I'm going to tell you this because everybody probably can relate to it. You know, growing up, we would go to the Saturday matinee. And when somebody went in the theater at the Saturday matinee, they would go and open the back door and crack it
You are
so that
officially from Mississippi.
so that the rest of the folks come in. Everything that I have learned is give back. I'm giving everything I got because I want people to know, hey, I want to wear out. I don't want to rust out. So that's my approach to it.
Well, that's excellent. Okay, we also, just to let you know, on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, and we do what's called the wealth crisis, except for the bit.ly that you're looking at says the wealth crisis solved. So again, we're giving you a plethora of education, but it doesn't mean a hill of beans if you don't act on it, that you do something with it. The knowledge is power, but you have to do something with the knowledge because we're at this point now. Our people need to be educated financially because if we know better, we'll do better. But if you don't know anything, just like, you know, what James has shared today is some powerful information that the wealthy have always had. You know, they look at us and they're like, well, you don't know, you know. And the other part, which I know you were going to mention, and I'm just going to say is that the strategy you just laid out, Uncle Sam does not get a part of this, nor does your fast reform for school. I mean, you know, it's a win-win situation. But the problem is we sit back and we wait. And like you said, if we do it early, then we don't have the trifecta because that's driving me crazy. But I did hear this week that there are some things that people can do even when they show up with the trifecta, that they got some potentials. Even like you said, you know, you can do something for the children and still be able to get some financial freedom. So that being said, the other thing that I wanted to ask you regarding, you know, we have Black History Month and we're trying to get the people educated. How can you, or do you think that there's a way that we can reach more people? Of course, we got Soul City Network, but are there any other things that you would say that we could get out there, short of having a mallet and knocking them up beside their head? What else can we do?
We got to get people to understand how important it is. And the Bible says, ask and you shall receive. Help is available if you ask the right people for it. It said, seek and you shall find. You got to seek out people who can give you wise counsel. It says, knock and it shall be open unto you. You got to go knocking on some doors to find people who can give you information to help you make better decisions, because nobody's going to knock on your door and tell you, I'm here to help you change the landscape of your life forever. No, if you want it, you can get it. We love to see you with it, but you got to go and make it happen for yourself. If it is to be, it is up to me. I cannot sit down and wait for somebody to do something for me. All I have to do is go out there and ask, and I'm sure there are people just like you. If any young lady wanted to know what it takes to succeed and have great success in this thing, all they have to do is ask you. I feel the same way for any man who's interested in learning more. Just ask. I would love nothing more than sharing everything that I receive, because at the end of the day, that's my whole mission. When I got this information, I want to find other men who be willing to go out and teach others how to do it. That's the whole idea.
So you did give us your information. I hope the producer can put it out there again, because if you are a man, or even if you're down in Tampa, in the area, matter of fact, across the country, because we're not restricted anymore. We got internet, we got Zoom. If you're interested in coming into the industry and learning and being mentored, because it's not just about us getting out here and trying to sell you something. We're going to educate. Now, I'm going to tell you something that's my philosophy. The only place that work will come success comes before work is in the dictionary. Every place else, you got to work. But my thing is, to the audience, I say, if you're going to work 16 hours for somebody, let it be yourself. And I officially will apologize to all of our young people officially today, is that we have, as adults, lied to you. We told you that you were going to go get a good education, get a good job, and we're going to retire in 30 years, and they're going to give you a watch, and you're going, we told you that. I'm sorry. I apologize, but I'm trying to rectify it, to tell you the opposite, which is, you need to have a business. You need to do something. Whatever you can do at 7 o'clock in the daytime and still be doing it till 7 o'clock at night, and you're still loving it, that's your passion, God-given passion. So now go out here and find somebody to pay you for it. And make sure you're structured right. Y'all have seen, and if you haven't, go back to Access Wealth Nation. We talk about structuring your business. Not just going and getting an LLC. That was my other way, James. I thought about it. I could easily become a sectillionaire. That's 21 after the zero. After the one. Because if I could tell everybody who got an LLC in this country, could they just give me $1? I'd be a sectillionaire, because that's all that they do. But then nobody works it. You got to work. You got to work. But that's one of the things that I think. So last but not least, I want to, before we go, is that if anybody has any questions, that's important. But also, James, what message would you like to leave the people with? I am so happy that you're on Access Wealth Nation. I got this opportunity. You got the New York Stock Exchange behind you, So my 1 in a million brother, tell us a message that people need to know, to walk away with in their heads.
At the end of the day, if you want to have any degree of financial freedom, it requires you taking action, not tomorrow, but now. Every one of us has an opportunity to take advantage of some God-given talent or ability to put ourselves in a great position to do something never done before. It only happens when you craft a plan to monetize your abilities. And as Jana said, it's not going to come from you working for somebody else. As a matter of fact, if you're working on somebody's job, learn everything you can on that job, but figure out how to monetize it and create your own for yourself. Because at the end of the day, the success of our community is going to be incumbent upon us going back to work in our own communities and not spending our money somewhere else. And I'll share this with you, give you an idea to think about. In America, we got the least amount of net worth. We have lower incomes than all other ethnicities, yet we own more Mercedes-Benz than anybody else. Why is that?
That is terrible.
That's
true.
That's because perception and never satisfied with having the ability to be in control, but have items control you. Wealthy people use their riches to create more riches. Worker bees use their income to buy more stuff to stay deep in debt. Big difference. So let's change the narrative. Let's go out there and make a difference by creating opportunities in our communities for one another. That's how we do.
That is so awesome. Thank you for that message. It's so true. Boy, that's so depressing about the Mercedes. I mean, go get a car that you guys spend more money on to even keep it sustained, and it depreciates as it goes off the lot. I just think we need to think differently. I know I listened, and I'll say this. There was a young man, there's a piece on Facebook, and I think he's on YouTube. And he said that people laughed at him because he had the Fila sneakers. And he said he didn't really care because that's what he liked. And, it's one of those things is image. The key is, I think a man standeth straighter and walks taller when he has a savings account, an investment account, and is taking care of his family. That is a man walking tall.
That's a fact.
And so this was such a pleasure, brother. I appreciate, and I thank the audience for participating and being here. I know y'all know what y'all do. Y'all have a tendency to listen a lot longer once I leave, and then we see all of this stuff. But we're always open. You got the information. You can reach out to Dr. James Wilkerson. You can, again, I will have him again back on Access Wealth Nation. We got lots of programs out here. I love the fact of bringing a million man financial freedom group. That is powerful. And $1 a day. It's $1 a day. Now I'm going to talk to the ladies too. $1 a day for your family's financial freedom. And the key is, stop worrying about what's happening now. Do it now for your future, because you're going to live long. So you got to communicate, and we're here for you. We're people who understand, because we've walked in your shoes and still walking. So James, I just say thank you so much. It has been wonderful. I'm looking forward to more time and making a difference. We're going to change this world. We're going to change the thought, then change the world.
Yes, we will.
So I just say to everyone, I hope you learned something today. Yes, on the 20th of February at 7 p.m., we're going to have the State of Black America and Financial Literacy. As James described it to you, we're going to bring some powerful information. Won't mean a hill of beans if you don't do something with it. So again, thank you all for listening. And again, I'm Jana B. Woodhouse, Dr. Jana B. That's Jana B. Woodhouse at Access Wealth Nation on the Soul City Network, and of course on WHCR 90.3 FM. Thanks again.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be linked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She is magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is magic.